You have been tithing. You've been praying. You've been believing God for the breakthrough, and nothing has changed. After years of doing loans for Christians, I can tell you the real reason God is not blessing your finances. It's not because you've not asked enough. It is because you're still doing three things every single week that make it impossible for Him to bless what is already in your hands. I'm not standing over you on this one. I'm standing right next to you. I'm watching myself do at least one of these three things right now in my current storm. What I want to do today is name the three things I see Christian borrowers make every single week from the lender's seat. Not to shame you, not to scare you, just to show you what I see so you can see it too. And make one small change this week that starts to unlock what God is trying to release. God's not withholding the blessing because He's cruel. He's not withholding it because the character on the ground cannot yet carry it. Every mistake we're about to talk about is a character issue disguised as a money problem. The blessing does not go where the character cannot hold it. God is not being stingy. He's being wise. If He can't trust you with the little amount He gives you today, how's He supposed to bless you with more? All three of these mistakes are things I've watched from my seat, and all three are things I have done myself in my own life. So I'm not preaching from the mountain here. I'm in the storm with you. Mistake one is the one nobody wants to admit. Mistake two is the one everybody rationalizes. And mistake three is the one Jesus talked about the most. God cannot bless a life that is built to impress other people. The blessing arrives and it gets consumed instantly because the lifestyle is already too big for the income. In my past life, all I did was chase the Joneses. They were verging on being broke and filing bankruptcy. What did I do? I went out and bought things because I was trying to feed my soul. I was trying to make myself happy. Instant gratification. And it ended up costing me money. Lots of money. On the verge of bankruptcy at one time. Tons of debt. Close to $100,000 in debt. That's not a lifestyle that you or I want to live. Now, from my other side of my life, in my lender seat, I see Christians, borrowers who keep wanting more cash out. They're cashing out of their properties because their current income cannot fund their lifestyle. And they just want to look successful. I've seen this pattern over and over again. If the spending habits don't change, how is God supposed to bless you? I've said this in many videos in the past, and I'm going to say it again. We need to be very cognizant in what we do with our money on a daily basis. And I consider it a win and a blessing when I can pay for my roof over my head, there's food on the table, there's clothes on my back, everybody's healthy and safe. Everything else is a winner chicken dinner. It is above and beyond. But we want to be the everyone that keeps up with the Joneses, but our income can't keep up with it. And our choices keep on putting us in the hole. Is there a blessing in all that spending? I think so. It's a wake-up call. God is tapping you on the shoulder and saying, here's the what that I want you to change, not the why, the what. The what is stop spending. Stop spending more than you are making. The other piece of this, social media glorifies this. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Everybody's putting on a facade. Everybody's life is perfect. And here I am having a conversation about debt and being able to be honest and vulnerable with you guys. We're competing with highlight reels. That's not even real. And let me tell you guys this. Yes, we're all on social media. We're all doom scrolling. But in the end, we have to pay attention to our own lives. And if we're not present in our own lives, how are we supposed to become better stewards? And how are we supposed to get out of debt when we're chasing the Joneses? When you're building life to impress others, you're not building a life for God. He knows the difference. And He's not going to bless you when you're doing this. He's not looking for you to be admired by other people because of all the things you can buy. He wants you to be in contact, in touch, growing closer to Him. A little scripture, guys. Luke 12:15. Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. And let me end this here with a little anecdote for me. You know how they say is he who has the most gold wins, or who he has the most possessions wins? It doesn't work that way, because when you die, you can't take them with you. They don't go with you. By all means, I'm not saying not to have things, but you have to do it correctly and not be overspending on your lifestyle. You're financing your impatience. The financing tool that let you have things now are the same tools that guarantee you never actually own them. Impatience is the sin behind financing. Credit cards, buy here, pay here, buy now, pay later, buy now, pay later on every checkout page. Financing furniture, financing the vacation, financing your phone. I've done that many times. This phone, free and clear. Every one of them is a bet that your future income will bail out your personal impatience. Why can't you save? It's a good question. Look at yourself. Why can't you have the patience to save? Something that I see from my lender side. I have borrowers that show up to the closing table that have just basically racked up their credit card debt multiple times, and they're looking to get bailed out again with a refinance. All they're doing is driving up their mortgage balance, driving up their mortgage payment, leading them back into a 30-year mortgage when they've already paid 5 or 10 or 15 years down. They're starting all over again. Instead of changing the habit, they're just disguising it into a refinance, which ultimately is going to hurt them in the long run. God's timing is patient. God's provision does not require you to swipe now and figure it out later. When you finance everything, you're telling God your timing is too slow for me. That is impatience, and impatience is a sin. Everybody tells themselves, I'll pay it off next month. Almost nobody does. Then interest compounds, and then the item you had to really have becomes the anchor you can't escape. As I've shared with you guys in prior episodes, I've been on an 18+ month journey of correcting this in my own life, shutting everything down and going to a cash basis. If I can't pay cash for it, it does not happen. I'm getting rid of all my debt, the debt snowball method. I am also working through a debt settlement program to handle a few items that I just cannot keep on paying 22 or 23% on. So yes, I am taking a hit on my credit, but in the end, with that being said, I'll get myself out of debt faster and be more efficient with being able to get myself on track. Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. That's a strong one, a very strong one. Are you faithful with the little? If God trusts you with $500 and you blew it, why would He trust you with $50,000? He's not being cruel. He's being consistent. Faithful in little is the doorway to trusted with much. God is trusting you with a little right now. What are you doing with it? Because how you handle the little is exactly how you'll handle the lot. And I so know this so much. I had a client that had an inheritance who lost 6 figures in 2 years on a small business who could not steward $10,000 and then wondered why they could not manage 100K. Same pattern every single time. God is not withholding the blessing to punish you. He's watching what you're doing with what you have in your hands right now and using that as a test. Fix the leaks, cancel the subscriptions, tell the truth about where the money actually goes. Give it a level you have, not the level you hope to have. I'm working on all this right now. And what I'm doing is I'm giving at the level that I have. Every single check that comes in, 10% no matter what. And then I am very grateful and thankful and blessed that I can do that. My life has started to change even more as I'm consistently tithing and not worrying about money. I've put it all into God's hands. God is my shepherd and my provider. Luke 16:10. One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. The real reason God is not blessing your finances is not because he has forgotten you. It is because he loves you too much to hand you a blessing that would destroy you. Chasing the Joneses, financing your impatience, being unfaithful with little, every one of those is a mistake you can start correcting today. Because faithful in little is the doorway to trusted with much. Drop a comment below and tell me which of the three you know is yours. I read every single one of them. Once you start fixing these three mistakes, God will bring the breakthrough. But there is one question you need to answer before that happens. It is the whole point of the last episode, and it's right here. Go take a look.